Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today I want to talk about working from home. Okay, so for some of us, myself included, we have worked from home for a long time. For others of us, it has been something that has been new in the past, however many months it's been, 6 months? Is it 6 months yet? 5 months? Whatever. Basically since the coronavirus hit. While I realize some people have returned back to offices, like my husband, for instance, is working from home indefinitely. So I think a lot of businesses have also discovered that a lot of their staff can work from home. So anyway, in that vein, and I've mentioned it on the weekly vlogs, my videos that go up on Wednesday quite a few times, I'm really struggling with finding a new normal in this new time. I'm a person that really thrives on routine and schedule. So in planning for my own autumn and fall wardrobe, I thought it would be good to look through, comfortable things that also are look put together. Number one, if you do a lot of Zoom calls, and you do want to look presentable and professional. Also, I think a lot of these ideas can go from working at home back to the office with the addition of a few accessory changes. So today I want to talk about what I'm deeming the 10 essentials for working from home. Now, you could totally, slouch around in your activewear or comfortable clothes, pajamas if you wanted to, all day long. For myself, I find that I'm just more productive if I am more put together, if I am actually getting dressed for the day. Now, you will definitely notice if you watch the weekly vlog that I do not do my hair and makeup every day. That's pretty obvious. But I do like to at least get dressed and put on clothes so that if I do need to go run errands or, whatever, I am somewhat presentable even if my hair and makeup isn't like completely done. Anyway, so these are the 10 essentials, garments that I am deeming the 10 essentials for working from home coming into the fall and winter time frame. I am going to give some pattern suggestions for all of this. There are a ton of different pattern suggestions for all of these categories. I'm only giving like 3 or 4, maybe 5 in some instances, as I was going through and just kind of looking at both what I already own and then a few things that I'm kind of eyeing up purchasing for the upcoming season. Again, there's a ton. So I'm just offering examples. You could definitely, actually the Fold Line. The Fold Line, if you go to their website, they sell patterns now and you can actually even get your PDF patterns printed through them. But you can also, they've got a whole database of independent patterns and it's really easy to go through and select certain criteria and search all the different patterns that they've got. Now, it's not every single independent pattern, but it's a good place to start. And it's also a great way to go and find maybe some independent pattern companies that you were not familiar with before. So I will put a link down to their website below, and all of the patterns that I mentioned today will also be linked below. And any outfit inspiration pictures I show, I will leave a link to my Pinterest board below where you can go back to the original source of those pictures as well. Okay, let's get going. So again, there's just a ton of pattern options for a lot of these. These were just some that kind of caught my eye and just wanted to give you an idea of kind of what I'm talking about. So we're gonna start with the bottom and work our way up. So number 1, we're gonna start with pants and then we will go, let me get comfortable here. I've got my tablet in my lap so that I don't miss anything. So number 1 are woven joggers. Now, I know you may be thinking, but wait, shouldn't we be getting away from, weren't you just talking about getting away from activewear and that kind of thing? And yes, I think that that's important. However, I think that woven joggers can look incredibly chic and be very comfortable. So when I was picking these things out for working from home, I wanted things that were very comfortable, that were easy to do work from home, and still, you could put on with slippers, that kind of thing, but still looked put together and could still go the extra mile if you wanted to wear them into the office. So with woven joggers, and I'm gonna just have some scrolling examples here, you see a ton of these woven type of jogger pants with a blazer and with heels, and it looks very, very chic. However, I think that they look just as chic with like a driving moccasin or like a driving shoe if you know what I'm talking about, kind of a slip-on type shoe, loafer. I think they look really chic, obviously, with a high-end tennis shoe. You can definitely, obviously, wear more of an athletic tennis shoe, like again, Adidas Stan Smith types of shoe, or something that's a little more active looking, like more of a workout shoe, that kind of thing. Or there's so many beautiful examples of like a leather tennis shoe that are just a little bit more dainty a lot of times. And I think that those look fantastic and could look very polished with the joggers as well, but still be elevated more than just I'm wearing my activewear. So some patterns that I have for suggestions, and again, there's quite a few out there. Number one is the Itch to Stitch Tiaras woven joggers. These, I think she suggests, I believe, like rayons, things with a little bit of drape. And you do have an elastic waistband on this, obviously, on the waist, and you can put the elastic on the ankle or you can omit it. I really like the elastic on the ankle. I think it's a really fun detail and makes it look more like a jogger. But I was very interested. When I was going through and doing all of this research, I found on Net-a-Porter, which is a high-end website basically for clothes. They have a whole bunch of designer stuff. I mean, like high end. I think I was looking at I was on there looking for ideas, and I can't remember now what it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was with the joggers. It was a cashmere jogger set. So it was like a cashmere, like a knit cashmere, kind of lightly cabled jogger bottoms with like an oversized matching sweater, kind of. $5,100. It was on pre-order. There's just a whole nother half that lives a completely different life than I do. But anyway, it is a great place to look for some designer inspiration, and I really like going on there and just seeing like what's in. You know, some of it's very like way out there, like very trendy, but I do get some ideas and some styling ideas and that kind of thing as well. So one thing that I noticed with the woven joggers is that there were quite a few pairs in tinsel. So like a tinsel twill, and I actually have some tinsel twill in solid colors that I think would make fantastic woven joggers, and then they look a little bit more like pants. Again, you don't want to use a fabric that is too thick, so you want to make sure, and these tinsel twills are probably like medium weight that I have, but you want to make sure that you don't get it too thick a fabric to where you have like a lot of bunching at your waist, because obviously that's not attractive. That's not what you're going for. But any kind of a rayon poplin, rayon challis even, obviously that might get a little chilly in the really colder months, but I just really love, or even just like a thin cotton twill. You know, you have some cotton twills that you're kind of like, oh, are those okay for pants? They'd be great in a woven jogger. Also, I have seen quite a few examples of silk woven joggers. So if you want to go with a little bit thicker, like a silk charmeuse, like even like with the satiny side, I saw quite a few of those. Oh my gosh, those would be absolutely luxurious. Any kind, you know, I spoke about in the silk video about 4-ply and 3-ply silk crepes. Those would be gorgeous as woven joggers. You know, just some options for those. Okay, another pattern, sorry, I keep hitting my keyboard up here. Another pattern idea is the Love Notions Allegro bottoms, and this is actually pants and skirt. They have an option for a cuffed jogger, or again, the looser jogger. And I think these you could do, you could do them in a linen, and you know, and it would be fine. I mean, actually, it depends on what season you're going into. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere and going into summer here soon, then you may love a pair of linen ones, and I think those would be incredibly chic, actually. To find a contrasting or a coordinating knit for the waistband or the bottom of the joggers would be really cool. Or I think that this pattern also just has you know, put a casing in for the elastic, which is also a really cool idea. I mean, works just as well. It's the same type of thing. This pattern is great because it also comes with skirt options. So if you really enjoy this one, it's a lot of bang for your buck, which is typical with Love Notions patterns. I've talked about them, both of them in Itch to Stitch ad nauseum, I'm sure. Another thing, Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles has even done a video on how to add a yoga waistband to the top of both these joggers and the skirt. So if you don't want elastic kind of digging into you, if that's just not your thing, a yoga waistband, which is basically just knit fabric that's been folded over, can be applied to the top of these, and it's for wovens, and just it gives a little bit more of a flatter silhouette if you're going to wear things over it. And also is just a little bit more comfortable. So that's definitely an option as well. So I will put a link to her channel down below. But yeah, she does somewhere on her channel have a video on how to do that. Also the Helen's Closet Arden pants. This is one of her newer patterns. I've seen a lot of people that make these up. The model that is on when you pull the pattern up on her website has them in kind of a real lightweight denim, like maybe even like a tinsel denim, which is just a beautiful weight to use. And I mean, it would be like jeans almost, but not really. Something kind of different. And actually, I'm very tempted. In fact, I think I've got a little bit of some tinsel, like a denim weight fabric that I got, I think maybe even at Joann's like a while ago. I think I still have some more left over, but that would make a fantastic pair of woven joggers. And I did find a lot of, also on the Net-a-Porter, a lot of options of that, where they almost look like stonewashed a little bit, like you kind of a nod to the 80s a little with those, but they would also be very comfortable and nice and lightweight and drapey. And then finally, I did, you could also use a knit. If you wanted to go the knit jogger route, and those can also be incredibly chic as well. I think that if you use something like a Ponte or a really nice French terry, especially in like a solid color, it can definitely be worn into the workplace if you wanted to. So especially like a darker color, like if you wear a lot of black or like a dark navy, even a chocolate brown, whatever your dark neutral is, I think that that looks incredibly chic. Or I also saw a few examples of doing kind of a monochromatic look where maybe you have like tans, for instance, and different shades of tan in your sweater, your jogger, and then like a nice blazer on top with a heel. You could do it in grays, different shades of grays as well, just very, very beautiful. But yes, there are many options for knit joggers as well. Seamwork has one, Seamwork Patterns has one, it's the Mel, that I think would be, if you used a same fabric tie or even just omitted the tie and didn't put like the little drawstring on the front, but I think that these could be really fun for, the work, and not only just at home, but also going into the office too. I think you could get away with something like that. Again, just with the right accessories, heels and a blazer, there you go. Maybe not if you work at like a law firm, but if you're working at like, where you can do more like business casual, I think that would totally work. Another option is the True Bias Hudson pants, which are very popular. Those have a little bit more of a drop crotch, and they're a little bit lower waisted. So I don't know, with those, I love those pants and I've made them quite a few times, but those do read a little bit more leisure wear to me and less put together. Whereas the Seamwork Mels do come up to the natural waist, so I think that that might be a little bit better of an option if you're wanting to dress them up. If you found a cashmere knit, oh my gosh, can you imagine? Like that would totally be work appropriate. Whew. Anyway, I've talked about cashmere knit a lot on this channel, I feel like. Someday I will own some. That day is not now. All right, number 2 for bottoms, I also put down just comfortable trousers. And in this, there are so many options that are out there now where they have the elastic in the back, but then a flat in the front, which is just genius for anyone, really. And maybe you do like waisted things. Maybe you do feel more comfortable if you have something that really hugs your waist, and that's fine. Obviously, there's millions of trouser patterns that are out there. Someone that struggles with autoimmune that has a waistline that fluctuates rather wildly like myself, elastic is our best friend. And if you can look polished and put together and still comfortable with an elastic waistband, it is a game changer. So I've pulled a few trousers, and the ones that I've pulled here are kind of a tapered or a peg leg trouser. And the reason, there's many wider leg trousers. Obviously, there's a ton of patterns out there for like a palazzo style pant, which you could definitely use for this as well. But I am picking more of a tapered kind of a peg leg trouser. Number one, I think it looks just a little more classic and traditional, like a trouser, and it's also a silhouette that I'm really exploring for myself this fall and winter because my body shape, a pegged trouser will make your hips look wider. So if you're someone that carries a lot of their weight in their, thighs and hips and butt, a tapered trouser probably isn't your best friend. More of a straight leg is probably much better. But if you're someone that is a little bit narrower, like an apple shape or an inverted triangle or even an H shape, just have a little bit narrower through the hips. I think a pegged trouser or a tapered trouser looks fantastic because it makes your hips look a little bit bigger and then your waist smaller in comparison. So it gives you a little bit more of that hourglass shape by fudging things basically. And then you add an elastic in the back and it's like a game changer. So the first pair of pants that I'm kind of thinking about, and I think I actually already have these printed off, I need to go look, but it's the Channing trousers by Seamwork Patterns. They have a fantastic size range, and I love the pleats on the front of this. I know pleats aren't everyone's friend, but I do love how classic that is. And I think it'd be easy to add, I can't remember if this one has belt loops to be honest, but if not, very easy to add belt loops, so you can wear a belt with it if you want. If you're feeling you're having one of those days where you do want something a little bit more waisted. But I think that these would be fantastic in wool. A lot of wool suitings are worsted weight, which means it's the way that they are woven. We'll talk about wool and another learning fabric at one point, but a lot of men's suiting is made out of that. And if you look at like a pair of men's trousers, like a suit trouser, a lot of times they will have lining just in the front part of the leg and it'll stop like mid-thigh, just really to help the pants ease over underwear basically, so it's not catching on boxers or that kind of thing. And then they are completely unlined from the bottom down. Worsted weight wool is very finely woven, and so it is wrinkle resistant basically. You can wad that stuff up and it's so hard to wrinkle. And the reason that they use that for men's suits is for travel and that kind of stuff. Plus, if you're sitting and then standing, you don't want to be all rumpled and crinkly. So that a lot of times they use those really tightly woven wools, and that's usually if you see something that's listed as suiting weight, that's what that is. And because of the nature of the wool and the very, very tight weave that makes it nice and smooth, they aren't itchy. So maybe you wouldn't want to do a wool tweed for these pair of pants, but definitely like a suiting weight I think would be gorgeous. And then you can kind of get that wool, and it's insulating. Wool is insulating. You could totally fully line these pants if you really, really wanted to, or even underline them if you really wanted to. But I love the idea of doing these in, you could do like a tinsel twill, but I really love the idea of doing these in wool, which was kind of my idea. Either a plain one or one that has like a menswear check or a houndstooth or a herringbone, something just kind of more menswear inspired, because I love mixing and matching the menswear with more feminine on top, which actually, because I've done a lot of research and looking into what my kibby body style is, and I'll be talking a lot more about that in the coming weeks, but I am a soft classic, which classic silhouettes tend to go just a little bit masculine. Classic's like right in the middle between the masculine and feminine, so you can kind of go both ways. I am a soft classic, which means I go a little bit more feminine than a regular classic, but I love mixing menswear inspired things with like softer edges, like softer pleats and like a pegged trouser, maybe softer fabrics and that kind of thing on my top, with like menswear inspired fabric. So anyway, okay, the Channing trousers. Another one that I'm very interested in, and this is a new to me pattern company, it's Untitled Thoughts, and it's their Chandler trousers and shorts. And I've actually seen these, God, maybe it was even on a fold line video. I love these trousers. I think that they are so chic and they look like a menswear trouser. I love them cuffed. I think they look great with like an Oxford shoe, a loafer, your slippers. And even, like I said, like a leather tennis shoe, like a high-end, nicer looking tennis shoe, I think would be fantastic with these as well. Again, they've got the elastic in the back, and I can't remember now if these have the welt pockets or not. Some of these do though have, you can either do faux welts or actual welt pockets if you wanted to on the back, just to give it really that tailored look. And then finally, I've pulled up the Sew House 7 free range slacks. I have seen a ton of people make these and they just go on and on about them. I think that these would be fantastic in like you could go more of a denim, like a tinsel denim kind of, that's really like drapey. Or you could go maybe a lightweight wool, a worsted weight wool again. I got your tinsel twills, more rayons, that kind of thing. Silk if you wanted to get really fancy. But I've seen a lot of people make these and they look super comfortable. All right, number 3, pull-on pants. Now these are very similar to what we've talked to. I mean, obviously the joggers and the comfy trousers are all pull-on pants, but these are more like, knit pants basically, or even jeans, that kind of thing. So I have 3 different patterns that I have pulled for these. The first one is the Itch to Stitch Mountain View jeans. I love these. I have made these in denim and I have made these in corduroy, and they are just so comfortable. Last year, Joann Fabrics had a wonderful line of like, it wasn't really fine whale corduroy. It was like a mid corduroy that was stretchy, so comfortable. It was like wearing sweatpants. Highly recommend. I don't know if they'll have it again this year, but it came in a whole bunch of different colors. And I made a kind of a plum color and then also a chocolate brown color, which actually my chocolate brown ones, I made them to be kind of cropped a little bit, like a 7/8 pant, and they shrunk a ton in the wash and were like a capri length on me, which is just not, I mean, for a corduroy pant, you want to be able to wear like in the winter, and there was way too much leg showing at the bottom, and it made them very chilly, so those got donated. But my kind of plum ones are still totally in rotation. I just tried those on. But this pant pattern is so comfortable, and I will definitely be making more. She also, Itch to Stitch is starting to expand her size range, so all new patterns going forward will be in the new expanded size range, but this was her first old pattern that she went back and added the second size range to, and so those are available in her full extended size range now, and I've seen some beautiful tester options. These sit right below the natural waist, so they are not mid-rise. I wouldn't even call them mid-rise. Well, maybe mid-rise, but literally the waistband of these sit right below, like maybe a half of an inch below my natural waist. They're a fantastic pattern. The second one that I thought of, Worthy Love Notions Sabrina Slims. She has just re-released that, when was that? Back in the spring maybe, in their new extended size range, and also a new block. She has a whole bunch of options for those. There's some neat seaming that you can do on the front to make them look like tapered or more like a traditional work trouser. They are a pull-on pant. You can make them up in panties and they look fantastic. She also has a fitting workbook that comes with that pattern when you buy it. So if you need to grade out, like a lot of times I have to grade up a couple of sizes at my calves because I have extended calves, and I just need a little extra room there. They're a little extra curvy, and she has a wonderful fitting workbook that walks you through how to fit those to the best of your ability. It's fantastic. And then finally on that one, I also have the Sewing Workshop pencil pants. Now, I have made these a couple of times as well, and the pattern actually calls for ponte, like a thick knit. I've actually never made them in ponte. I have made them in stretch wovens both times, and it's worked perfectly. I've also added, I have a video, excuse me. I did a whole module with the Sewing Workshop patterns, and I'll pop a video up to the one on the pants because I did a video and I actually took a pocket pattern from another one of their patterns and put them into the pencil pants to give them more of a pocket, and I used a stretch cotton twill. They get worn a ton in the fall, and tried them on. I just did a closet clean out and they still look great, so they're back in the wardrobe again for another season. They're super comfortable, but then they look like a chino pant, kind of, if you do it like in a cotton, like a chino fabric, obviously. But there are a lot of stretch wools out there. As long as you've got, I think, gosh, what did I think as long as you have 20% stretch, you should be fine to use a stretch woven, which is a fairly stretchy woven. But yeah, it's a good one to do with wovens as well as knits. You can look, find, it looks very posh with a nice quality ponte as well. Okay, so those are pants. Moving on to skirts. All right, with skirts, obviously elastic waist is wonderful. And again, I have issues with things being, with my waist fluctuating. But I do have some options on here. Actually, all these options are all waisted skirts, mostly because, I do like to wear waisted things occasionally. And I also find that in the winter, skirts can be very warm. So if you pair skirts with a nice pair of tights on underneath, it's almost warmer than pants in a lot of instances. And then you can definitely do, your warmer weight, like some wools, some beautiful wools that you could then line the skirt if you wanted to. Even some your suiting weight wools. You can do denims, different denims. So it's kind of an alternative to jeans, corduroy, that kind of thing. So So for the first one, I picked the True Bias Salida skirt, mostly because I think this skirt is so cool, and it's also a shape that I think would be very flattering on my figure, again, just to help give me more of a hip line, because it kind of does that mermaid flare out. I would really, really love to make this either in a denim skirt or a denim fabric or a corduroy. I think that it would just be a good staple. I love it paired with like a tight-fitting turtleneck, or any other type of, we're gonna get to tops here in just a second, but like nice knit tops that'd be nice and comfortable. And yeah, just a good alternative to jeans that's still like warm and comfortable. Also, I'm going to be doing, like I said, more videos on just working from home, and I think I'm actually going to do a video on in the coming weeks about finding a new schedule and finding how I get sewing in. I have a ton of people ask me all the time how I fit sewing into my other like household duties and being a mom and that kind of stuff. So I'm exploring a new schedule for myself, mostly just to find a new normal, but I'm thinking of doing a video on what that new schedule is once I have tested it out for a little bit. So maybe in the coming months, really. But one thing that I really want to get better at is, instead of, I do a lot of like my editing and computer work just in like our couch or in one of our lounge chairs, and it's starting to bother my back. And I think that it's because I'm like constantly, you know, I'm sitting back like you would for a relaxing chair, but it's really bothering my tailbone and starting to exacerbate my back a little bit. And I think I might be better served if I'm down here at my desk working at a computer at a desk. I think that that's just going to be much better on my back. So with that being said, I think some of these skirts, these waisted skirts, will be very comfortable just sitting at a desk. You know, maybe not as well, you could definitely curl up on a couch with these as well. But, you know, just feeling a little bit more put together and being able to wear waisted things when I can. So the second one I picked was the Closet Core Patterns Fior skirt, which she has done up in different linens. However, I think that, and I think it is one of the options though, is to do a button-down placket skirt. Very simple, very easy, but in a very lightweight denim I think would just be gorgeous. Or again, a suiting weight wool. You could even just draft your own lining, very simple, you just use the same pattern pieces. And if you have a button-down placket, you could even kind of go the same route that I am doing my dress for my sew-along right now. It's just, I think would be a fantastic pattern, and I think you could very easily use fall and winter fabrics with this just as easily as you could use, you know, your rayons, which obviously would be beautiful, and you can wear those in the fall and winter as well. But yeah, your rayons and your linens and that sort of thing, but kind of going a little bit more wintry with it, and I really want to kind of play around with that. I own that pattern and have not made it up yet. And then lastly, the Victory Patterns Madeline skirt. I think that this is just a adorable skirt pattern. I love it in denim. I think it would be fantastic in a corduroy as well. I'm interested in the suspenders that go with that because they're pretty wide set. And actually, let's see, Rachel from the Stitch Sisters made this up. It's been a while ago. Looks absolutely adorable on her, and she is busty. She is a very curvy figure. She's more of an hourglass figure, but I really kind of want to try it out. I have a few Victory patterns on here actually. I own a couple of them, but I'm interested in exploring their silhouettes just a little bit more this fall and winter as well, because there's actually a pattern on here that I just fell in love with. But yeah, I love that Madeline skirt, and I think in any kind of denims or corduroys would just be adorable for fall and winter, and you can get that like 70s nod, and I think it would look cute with like voluminous shirts tucked into it, as well as like a fitted turtleneck. So yeah, I thought that that was just a very, very cute skirt. All right, so those are our bottoms. This is gonna be a very long video because we're just now getting on to tops. So let's see, I have 3 categories of tops. So for the first one, we're gonna go with statement blouses. So these are more, your shirts that just give a little bit more punch, especially if you do Zoom calls. If you want something that looks just a little, you know, if all you're seeing is your top half and you want something just a little different, but still comfortable, I think that these kind of tick the boxes. The first one is the Style Arc Mimi Woven Blouse. Now, it's very plain. You know, I think this would be gorgeous in a silk. Obviously, you could do it in a rayon, that kind of thing. But what I love about this is the sleeve. It has that smocked edge. I'm big into smocking. You're gonna see that here in just a little bit. And I love the idea of carrying smocking over into the fall and winter because it is unexpected. You know, you think of like the smocked dresses and that kind of stuff in the summer months, but I really want to play around with some smocking in unexpected ways for the fall and winter. I just think that that's kind of fun. I think that this blouse would be obviously gorgeous in a silk. But also a rayon or definitely something with drape, a tinsel, that kind of thing that just really showcases the beautiful lines of the top. I think if you had it in a color that you wear really well next to your face, it would just be a good showstopper. I really love this pattern. The second one, I'm trying to think. Yeah, this one also, the smocking, is the Victory Pattern Sophia top. This is a top and a dress, and it has so many variations. You can basically make this as like kind of a cropped top where it ends below the smocking, or you can add a little peplum to it, which is probably how I would do the top, add that little peplum. It can be a dress, which again, you can very easily layer this for the winter. She has, what is it, like 3 or 4 different sleeve lengths on it. I mean, there's just a ton of mix and matching that you can do with this pattern. And I just think it is so on trend and a very fun trend to try right now. And I love the big voluminous sleeve. I think that would look gorgeous in a lightweight silk again, or you could definitely go more the rayon route. I think it would just be beautiful and a really fun way to wear like a skinnier bottom, or even like a tapered bottom. Tuck it in, especially if you have the peplum. I think that would be really easy to tuck into a pair of bottoms. But yeah, I love this top, and I think it would be just gorgeous, again, on a Zoom call, or if you're, you know, just running a couple of errands, that sort of thing. And then the third interesting like statement blouse I came up with, Pattern Scout has a new top and dress, and it is the Romy, and it is a wrap top and dress. Now what I love about this, I love a good wrap top, love a good wrap dress. I think it's very classic. You can do it in a whole bunch of different fabrics. You can do them in cottons, you can do them in rayons, you can do them in, you know, silks again. I'm bringing back silk for this fall and winter. No need to be scared. I'm just gonna sew them up. I have a whole bunch in my stash left over from that my mentor Joyce gifted me when she got rid of her fabric stash. So it's time. It's time. And silk's also great to wear in the winter because it is, it's self-regulating, so it can keep you warm or can also keep you cool. But I love a good wrap top, and what I love about the Pattern Scout is that she does cup sizes. So I have made her, oh my gosh, what's the name of that? The fern top. I couldn't remember the name of the pattern. And it fits me fantastically. I really love that pattern, and I also own her Lulu cardigan. I've not made that up yet, although I think that I might make that up this fall too. But I love the cup size options, and especially with a wrap, just to make sure you're not getting too much cleavage, or if you like the cleavage, that can also be it as well. And I just think that it's a really beautiful top, and I've seen a ton of testers make it up, and it's gorgeous. All right, moving on from that, now we're gonna talk about knit. Obviously, knit tops are super comfortable to wear. There's like secret pajamas, but the whole reason for me doing this is that I just didn't want to get into the rut of wearing a pair, like a t-shirt and a pair of jeans every single day. I still wanted to be creative with my dressing, and because that gives me oomph. That gives me, you know, just a little bit more inspiration and passion throughout the day. I find creative juices in dressing and dressing differently. So I can definitely get in a rut. It's a very easy thing to do, but I think I'm better served if I mess around with my outfits and try different silhouettes. You can still have a uniform, but if you're still mixing it up a little bit, I think that that's fun. But so these are some kind of alternatives to your typical t-shirt. So the first one I picked was the Style Arc Como knit top. Now, this is obviously sleeveless, which doesn't really read winter that much, but I think that it would be wonderful layered underneath things. And what I love about this is that neckline. It's built up in the back. It's a V, so it frames your face. And how beautiful is that at a Zoom call? Or any kind of face-to-face type thing. Again, you can wear something layered over it, or if you're inside all day and you have a hard time regulating the temperature of your house, if you're working in a basement or up in an attic or whatever, you may want a sleeveless top just to be able to, like, throw a cardigan over it or take the cardigan off or whatever to help regulate your body temperature, especially if you're over a certain age and have issues regulating your body temperature anyway. Anyway, but I love the neckline on this, and I actually own this one. The second one that I picked was the Seamwork Patterns Oliver sweater. Now I think that this is beautiful. It just has a very interesting sleeve. It's almost like a pegged sleeve. So it's different than like your typical sweater and sweatshirt, but it's still very comfortable and can be worn as such without being too over the top. So it's a good way to wear the statement sleeve without being over the top. I think that this obviously would be gorgeous in like a French terry, because I think that would help support that sleeve and make it shine a little bit, as definitely any kind of cotton jersey that is a little bit more more body to it, and so will hold the shape a little bit better. And then I think sweatshirting fleece might actually work too. I do like sweatshirting fleece that has a little bit of stretch. Some sweatshirting fleece does not, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But I think that this is just a nice simple top that is just not typical. You know, it's a little different. And then the third one that I picked was the Friday Pattern Company Adrian top. I have seen so many people make this. I need to own this pattern. The neckline on this is gorgeous. The sleeves on this are gorgeous. I've even seen sleeve hacks where they hack it to like the elbow and do like a little cuff. And so it's like that big voluminous sleeve that goes into a cuff. I just think it's beautiful. I really, really want to own this one. And I think that that neckline, you know, is a perfect frame for some gorgeous jewelry or a scarf. Again, do it in a fun print or a nice solid color that really accentuates your face, and you're perfect and ready for your Zoom calls pretty easily. And it's comfortable because it's a knit shirt. All right, and then the final one of a category of tops here are turtlenecks. You all know I love a good turtleneck. What I really appreciate, and I know that not everyone can wear the really tall turtlenecks. In fact, I'm one of those. I do not have a very long neck, so I need to keep my turtleneck length regulated there. But I do think in the winter, number one, they're very nice and warm and cozy to wear, but also I think that they are if you have them in a nice, beautiful color that looks fantastic against your face, it's a wonderful way to frame and to brighten up your look, especially when we get into the winter months and everyone starts to look a little gray, a little dingy, because you just haven't seen as much sun. I think wearing beautiful colors that are in your color palettes up by your face is a fantastic way to brighten up your skin, your eyes, your hair. It makes everything look so fresh. So that's why I really love a good turtleneck. The first one that I picked is the Itch to Stitch Hepburn turtleneck. I made this back in my Great Module Sew Along for my spring capsule. Love it. This is a tighter fitting turtleneck, so it's great for layering. So if you want to put it under a pinafore dress or overalls or I mean any kind of summer dress that you're wanting to carry over into the cooler months, this is a good one. It's a very good one as a base layer to layer, or you can wear it as is as well. Quite a few of these bottoms, I love to see them paired with like a turtleneck. I just think that it's classic, it's chic, very Audrey Hepburn. But yeah, it's just a great staple to have in your cold weather closet. I also put on here the Sew House 7 toaster sweater. This is more of like a sweater and less of like a fitted turtleneck. I think that these are kind of nice and oversized, but they still have some shape. There's two different necklines that come on this, and I've seen so many people make them. It was a huge hit a couple years ago now, but it's a fantastic, I've seen a lot of people make it. It's fantastic on everyone, a couple different hem options. I think this would be fantastic with a little half tuck in the front with any of these bottoms that we're doing, but you could do it in sweater knits and that kind of thing and make it really nice and cozy for working from home. Also, the True Bias Nico. That is also, I don't own that one, but it has a little bit lower, not really a mock, but a little bit lower turtleneck on there, and I think that that's wonderful if you do have a shorter neck. This one is definitely more fitted, but it also comes in a dress option. So if you wanted to make yourself a nice turtleneck sweater dress, I think that this would be a fantastic pattern. Then you'd have kind of a 2-for-1. You can also get your standard turtleneck and a dress out of it as well. I actually have a knit, very 1970s knit, that I think really needs to be a turtleneck dress, like a sweater dress. So we'll see if that one makes its way into I don't own it, so we'll see if that one makes its way in. Okay, now let's move to, I'm kind of doing this in modules, so we started bottoms, tops, so let's talk about toppers, or cardigans in this case, and then I have 2 more categories of just one pieces. So with cardigans, I really feel like with the working from home vibe, oversized is best. only because it's just really easy to regulate temperature. If you have something nice and big and oversized that's easy to throw on, take off, throw on, take off, and then also easier to layer under your bigger, bulkier coats if you do have to leave the house. So I have 3 kind of boyfriend comfortable cardigans that I've picked. Again, there's a ton out there. The first one is the Style Art Como cardigan. So I talked about the Como knit top. In fact, it's a whole 3-piece thing. I think there's also a jogger pant that goes with it too. I love my cardigan. I've made it in kind of a tie-dyed fabric. A while ago, it still gets worn a ton. It is very oversized. In fact, I would almost recommend sizing down if at all possible, because it is so oversized. However, it has nice deep pockets and it's perfect for putting over multiple layers. So if you are chilly wherever you are, it's an easy one to throw over and still give that, you know, it's oversized, but it gives that nice long lean, you know, when it's open, that line, which I think helps balance things and makes it not look too bulky and having such a big bulky sweater. Another option, especially for fall, is the Seam Work Jill Cardigan. So this is kind of a coat cardigan mix. Again, it's open, so it creates that nice long line, which makes you look taller and slimmer. I think that the model here is wearing it in a boiled wool, I believe, which is beautiful. You could definitely do a thinner weight sweater knit probably as well. I've actually had this one printed out, the pattern, I've had it printed out, I just haven't made it up yet. It's got nice big pockets, but this one would be great not only for around the house for regulating body temperature, but also in the fall when you kind of in between weather there, throw on a scarf, put that on, and you then have a jacket to exit the house as well. And then lastly, I've got the Helen's Closet Blackwood cardigan. You just can't go wrong with this one. Now this one isn't as oversized. It is long, but it's got a skinnier arm, but it is also very elongating and very flattering. So if you're trying to stretch some of your summer tops into fall and winter, especially anything sleeveless, this is a perfect cardigan for that. And it just makes things look just a little bit more polished and put together, especially if you do a nice sweater knit out of that as well. Okay. I think we're down to 9 and 10 now. Let me make sure. Yes. Okay, so with module sewing, you're doing a lot of separates, not a lot of one pieces. So I always like to add a one piece, like a jumpsuit, overall type thing, or a dress. So I have 2 categories for that. The first is nice cozy knit dresses. There are a ton of these out here, and I actually have picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a ton more. So first off, I've got the Itch to Stitch Talon dress. I made this back in the spring, early or late winter kind of time frame. I've made mine in a viscose wool jersey. I cannot wait to wear it more this fall and winter. It's just so cozy and it is so flattering. It's got those princess seams that give a nice waist without it being too tight. So there's no waistline seam, so it just skims over the body as a nice full skirt. Oh yeah, pair these over with tights. It's like wearing a t-shirt basically. Secret pajamas. Love that top. Or that dress, and it also comes as a top. Second is the Love Notions Olympia dress. This is another knit dress that has just a really flattering neckline. It has kind of that built up neckline that kind of builds out into the V-neck that just frames the face beautifully. It frames jewelry really well. You can do a gorgeous print or a solid on this, and again, it's got the fuller skirt, which makes it nice and comfortable if you're sitting on the couch or putting tights on with it, and then a good cozy slipper. It's just a really good secret pajama type dress. Next is the Sew Over It Heather dress. I've made this before too. This is a little bit more of a straighter style. It's got gorgeous big deep pockets. It's like wearing an oversized sweatshirt basically. Again, you do like a it's meant for French terry, sweatshirt, fleece, that kind of thing. But if you do a solid color or something that's a little more subdued print-wise, I think it could definitely go into the office with like some booties or even a heel of some sort, and definitely you could pull that off, put a blazer on over it, and then again, secret pajamas. Next is the Tilly and the Buttons Cocoa dress and top. This is an old pattern, but it is so good. It's got the funnel neck option, which makes it very 60s, or you can just do the regular neckline option. It's just a cute knit A-line dress. Do this in something like a double knit or a ponte or French terry if it's not too drapey, because you really want to catch that, you know, waist and then A-line shape. It's got these adorable little pockets on the front. I've made this dress once. I do own the pattern. It's so good. The color, I actually ended up donating it because the color just was not one of my colors and I just didn't like it up next to my face. But I'm definitely going to be making it again, and this does have top options as well. So you can put this in your top category as well. Next, Victory Patterns Jackie Dress. I think this is so chic. Again, it's the nice long line, so it's giving you the waist without having the waist seam. You can do this in gorgeous pontees and sweater knits, and it's got the high neck that I think is super flattering. The midi length, I think it would be a very warm dress, and I'm very tempted about that pattern as well. And then finally, I have the AK Patterns Samantha dress. This is a nice faux wrap knit dress, and I think that it is so comfortable. I've made it once. I need to make another one. You can do short sleeves or long sleeves. It can go with a collar or without, so it kind of has that Diane von Furstenberg look, but again, it's a faux, so it attaches into a fuller skirt. It's not a circle skirt, but it is a fuller skirt. So very comfortable, very swishy, gorgeous in a solid ponte if you want to go a little bit more professional, or you can go a little bit more fun and do something that's in a print or even a French terry and really make it feel like you're wearing a sweatshirt. Okay, so that's that. And then I've got 5 patterns to talk about: jumpsuits and overalls. So these are also just one pieces that are really easy to wear. You can easily dress them up, or maybe not. These would be maybe less office appropriate unless you just work in a really creative, like, where you can wear kind of anything, but definitely for home. I think that these are super comfortable, especially if you're having a fluctuating waist day or a cramp day or a whatever flare-up type day and you don't want anything around your waist. There are some adorable options here. The first one is the Closet Core Patterns Blanca Flight Suit. I think this is so good. It looks fantastic in linen, which I actually have some linen set aside that I'm gonna make mine in. Also denims, you could do a really lightweight corduroy if you wanted to, cotton twills. It's definitely a little bit trendier, but man, this would be comfortable and warm. You could layer a turtleneck underneath, you know, pick different sleeve lengths. I think that this could be just really fun to wear in the winter and be nice and warm as well, and comfortable. The next one I put down is Helen's Closet Yanta Overalls. I think these are so cute and oversized. I actually own this pattern. I've not made it up yet, but I think with a fitted top underneath, you could really make this look cute. You know, you could make these in wools if you wanted, corduroys, denims, cotton twills. There's a lot of different fabrics you could use, tinsel twills, just kind of the look that you're wanting to get on that. Sorry, I'm trying to go a little bit faster. This video is getting very long. Next, I've got the Sew House 7 Burnside bibs. I have seen so many people make this up. It looks so good on so many. This one actually does have a waist to it, but it has elastic in the back, which would make it a very, very comfortable option. Very tempted to buy this pattern because I think it gives you that overall vibe without, like an overalls vibe without being shapeless. So if you are wanting something to accentuate your waist and to really kind of draw more attention to that part of your body but still be comfortable, I love that pattern. Finally, we've got the two more. Tilly and the Buttons Mila Dungarees. I own this one as well. It's like a skinny jean with a bib. I think that these are wonderful if you want something a little bit more fitted to your body, but it's meant for stretch wovens, like stretch denim, stretch corduroy, stretch cottons, but it's a fitted silhouette would still be very, very comfortable because of the nature of the fabric that you have to use for it. And I think everyone looks so cute when they wear these, and I think that they would be adorable with a big oversized shirt underneath them, as well as the more fitted t-shirts, even like a boat neck shirt, or even the turtleneck, obviously. And then finally, AK Patterns Abby Jumpsuit. I love this pattern. Every time I wear mine's more summery. It's got the 3/4 length sleeve, but and I've done the full pant, but it is, the fabric's just kind of summery. I get comments on it every single time I wear it. It's a faux wrap. It's got that gorgeous neckline, and I think you can mix and match the Samantha collar on there if you would like. That there is some mixable traits there between those two patterns as well. But it's out of a knit. A nice drapey knit looks fantastic on this. So like a rayon knit, this is when your rayon knits can really shine when you're doing something like this, just to make a really secret pajamas. And they're super easy to get on and off because they're stretchy, there's elastic in the waist, you know, your waist can fluctuate, you don't have to worry about that. Obviously the little bit thicker fabrics you use, you get a little bit more coverage. But again, I made mine out of a round jersey and don't have any, because the leg is so full on the pants, I don't get anything clinging to any lumps and bumps. So round jersey is a fantastic use for that pattern. Whew, there we have it. 10 categories, 10 essential categories for working from home garment ideas. So, spurring off this video, in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be talking a lot about my own fall capsule or modules that I'm going to be sewing for myself. I think I may spin it into a much more casual module sew along. I don't know that we're going to do prizes just because I'm going to be partially teaching at home. It's a hybrid schedule my kids are going to, so I can't fully commit to doing as big of a challenge as I did back in the spring, especially I'd be doing it by myself this time where I had Carla's help back in the spring, obviously. But I would like to do something a little bit more relaxed, like a work from home module sew along as opposed to the great module sew along. Again, not sure about prizes or that kind of thing, but let me know what you think about that. If I could kind of spur and just be a chance for us all to kind of share. We'll have a hashtag, go back and forth, and maybe I can dig up a few prizes and that kind of thing for you know, to randomly pick some winners at the end. But that probably wouldn't start until at least September, maybe even October. But it would be basically for this next season of clothing, whether you're going into spring and summer or fall and winter, just a way to kind of refresh. And as a lot of us are working from home, it'd be a little bit different tint than it was back in the spring. So let me know what you think about that. Okay, super long video. Sorry about that. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you don't miss any of the fun module sewing we're going to be doing here in the upcoming months. And I will see you guys on Sunday for part 4 of the B6674 sew along. Have a wonderful weekend, get some sewing in, and I'll see you then. Bye!